how to create the sliding feature in Flutter. Start by adding the smooth page indicator and faker. Then go to the main.dart file and then add a scaffold. Inside the scaffold, we're gonna start by making the app a little bit prettier. We're gonna have our app bar, we're gonna have a text of welcome back and name. The name is gonna be a faker person first name, which is gonna generate a random name each time we run our app. And then we're gonna add a text style where it's gonna be colors.black, and then the font weight is gonna be bold. And then we're gonna increase the font size. As you can see, it's looking good. And then we're gonna add a drawer, and then we're gonna add some action buttons, and it's gonna be our profile action buttons. Let's try to make it a little bit better. The center of the title, the background color is gonna be white, the elevation is gonna be 0. And then, as you can see, the icons suddenly disappear, and that's because the colors of them is white. So we change it to black by having the icon theme to icon theme data colors. We're gonna have it to black 87, and then the body is gonna be a single child scroll view. And then what we're gonna have inside the children is gonna be a text where it's gonna say something generic like check out our latest offers. We're gonna insert it inside a padding, and then we're gonna have the vertical is gonna be 20, and then we're gonna have the style, it's gonna be a text style, the colors is gonna be black 87, the font weight it's gonna be bold, and then as you can see it's looking good. But let's make it a bit better. Let's make the font size equal to around 20, and then let's add some horizontal padding to make it look a little bit nicer. Then after doing that, we're gonna start with the page view builder. Our page view builder is gonna have an item count of 4 images because we have 4 images from 0 to 3. And then we're gonna create the item builder where it's gonna return a container. The container gives us a bit more flexibility to handle the output. So first, let's have it, the decoration, box decoration. It's gonna have a background image of decoration image, and it's gonna be an asset image. Now, since our assets is numbered from 0 to 3, we can use the index as the name of them. As we run it, we can see that we have an error, and that's because the page view builder does not have a size. So let's add 187 to it inside the sized box. As you can see, it's looking good, but we can make it look better. So what we should do is add a fit where it's a box fit and it's a cover. And then as we can see, it's looking much nicer. And then I'm gonna have the cross-axis alignment. To cross-axis alignment start, to have the text start from the beginning, let's create a page controller where we're gonna instantiate it inside our init state. The page controller is gonna be a page controller. The initial page is 0 and the viewport fraction is gonna be 75%. And then after we do that, let's save it, and then let's add it to the controller of the page view builder. And then after doing a hot restart, we can see it's looking good. And now we can make it look a bit more better. So what we do, let's add a bit more of a margin. It's gonna be a symmetrical margin of horizontal for around 16. So let's add a border radius circular around 15. And then as we can see, it's looking better. Now what we can do is add some indicators, and it's going to be inside the container because it gives us more freedom. So we can have some edge insets. We're going to have a child is going to be the smooth page indicator. That's going to have the page controller and the same number of items inside the page view builder. So we can add the alignment into alignment center. And after doing that, we can have the effect into a worm effect where we can basically change the colors to what suits us best. As we can see, it's looking good, but we can make it look better. So we convert the container into an animated container. It's gonna have a duration, it's gonna have a curve, and then we can have an extra margin where it's going to be equal into the index of the selected page. And this variable we're going to create it in a bit, but basically what this means, if the container that's being drawn is the selected page, then we don't want any margin added to it. But if it's not, then add a little bit more margin. So after doing that, we have to make sure that the selected page is the same page as the page view controller. So what we can do is to add a listener to the page controller. What this will do is automatically change the selected page into the page controller's page. And then as you can see, it's looking good, but as always, we can make it look a little bit better. So what we can do here is wrap the animated container inside an animated opacity, where it's gonna have the duration, the curves, and then we're gonna have the opacity is gonna be equal to 1, which basically means that the container is gonna be 100% visible if it's the main one, else it's gonna be around 50% visible. So as we can see, it's looking good. So what we can do is have it start at index 1. And then we can make it change automatically. So we can have a timer. It's gonna have a duration of around 2 seconds at start, and then in a real life scenario you can have it at around 2 to 5 seconds, but it's preferred to be more than that so it doesn't distract the user. So what we can do, we can set the state into the selected page. So if the selected page is going to be equal into 2, which basically our max number of drawn pages, then we are gonna change it into 0. Else we're gonna change it into the selected page plus 1, which basically means we're gonna be incrementing it. After doing so, let's animate our page controller to the selected page. We have the duration into 700 milliseconds, the curves, fast out, slow in. So after doing that, make sure that you have the page controller and the timer both disposed. And as we can see, it changes automatically. But this is a little bit fast, so what you can do is make it a little bit slower. But also the user can change it, and then it's going to be basically fighting with the timer. So what we can do to fix that is basically, if the user changes the page, cancel the timer and then re-instantiate it, so it counts to 5 seconds, and then it's going to start animating after the user controls it. As we can see here, the user changes the page manually, and then the timer cancels. After he leaves it, the timer starts again, and then it's gonna start changing automatically once again. And that's all. Have fun, and thank you for watching.